Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. Today I'm reviewing LEGO Eternals set number 76156, Rise of the Domo. This has 1,040 pieces, 6 minifigures, and it retails for $90 in the US. This was released on October 1st, 2021, and it is the largest Eternals set that LEGO has made. And honestly, I really like the design of this ship because it's just triangular with all of these circular patterns, and that's something we don't see from LEGO very often. We've also got two deviants in this set, including the main villain of the movie, Crow. But first, let's start by taking a look at the exclusive Eternals minifigures. Phastos is the first of our two exclusives. Now, I really like this figure. He's got this really nice dark blue and purple color scheme, and then he's also got the gray and then the gold highlights. I think that looks really good. He also has a new face print. This did appear in the Daily Bugle set earlier this year, but it was designed just for him. Remember, these sets were supposed to come out a year ago. Really nice back printing as well, and the hairpiece works perfectly. He does have an angry alternate face as well, which looks really good. I think this looks a lot like the character. However, the one thing I think that isn't the best with this figure is his accessory. This is just a regular kind of like fist power blast. Phastos' superpower is like he can create anything using any kind of technology. Like he can create any technology if he has the raw materials, like using the Eternals' cosmic energy. And I get that that's kind of hard to represent in LEGO, but in the final battle in the trailers, we see him forming like circular like weapons around his fist. So I feel like they could have used, like the cyborg arm mold from the Justice League 2017 sets, something like that. But I get that they're kind of hard powers to represent in LEGO. He's also our very first openly LGBT superhero in the MCU, so I'm really excited to see this character, and I can't wait to see what he brings to the franchise. Druig is our second exclusive, and he completes our group of 10 Eternals. Now, I really like the design of this figure. I love his black and dark red color scheme. He's also got some kind of like silvery, like gunmetal gray printing back there. And he just looks darker and more brooding than all of the other Eternals, which I think is really exciting. So I really like him for that. What I don't like about him is his face and hair, of course. The hair is okay. I don't really know what piece LEGO could have used that would be better, but it is like a lot more shaggy, or not shaggy in the movie. It's kind of more like a bowl cut, I feel like, in the movie. But forget about the hair. The face is the problem here, because Druig is he's described as an aloof loner. And his superpower, by the way, is mind controlling humans. So he doesn't have an accessory because it would be hard to represent that. But I feel like this face, while it's okay at being, like that, loner and like being stoic and everything that we know Druig is, I don't think that it's good because the actor has very prominent cheekbones, Barry Keoghan. And so I think that we should have gotten a cheekbone face for Druig. Like we should have gotten one that makes him look older, because this is like the same face they used for Draco Malfoy. I think that this looks way too young for Druig. And it's also the same stupid face that they used for Happy Hogan in the Spider-Man Far From Home sets. Wonderful back printing. The angry face is a little bit better, but it just looks too much like a kid, because this was designed for like a kid from like Star Wars or something, I think. So I really would have liked to see a better face print. A new face print would have been awesome if it had gold eyes, because his eyes go gold when he's mind controlling people. But again, that's kind of a lot to ask for. I would have just preferred a better reuse. Here's Icarus, and honestly, I think that his face would work better on Druig than Druig's face does, because it has the cheekbones. Icarus, it comes in 3 sets, so he is the most common Eternal. I feel like that's kind of overkill. I don't think he needed to be in 3 sets, and again, I've already talked about this guy in 2 other reviews. I do not like this face for him, I do not like this hair for him, and much like Druig, he should have had colored eyes to represent his heat vision. Honestly, if they had made a new face print, like a new male face print with cheekbones and gold eyes, I would have been annoyed if they used it on 2 different Eternals, but at least the 2 Eternals with gold eyes would have gotten their gold eyes. I talked about Cersei in my Arishem review from the other day. Like her torso print, I like her leg print. I wish she had arm print though, because I feel like the LEGO version just doesn't have enough silver compared to her costume in the movie. The hairpiece is bad, the face is terrible. And she does have some nice back printing. She really should have used the princess hairpiece, because Cersei's hair doesn't really like kind of flow behind her shoulders like that. It's more like kind of tucked under, and it is like slightly braided. So honestly, the Black Princess hair would have been literally perfect. I've also talked about Thena already in my Deviant Ambush review. Again, really like the torso, I like the leg print, but I do not like her face. It's Mantis's face from Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think it just doesn't really work for Angelina Jolie. It's also missing her tiara, which she seems to be wearing for like 90% of the movie. And I don't like the hairpiece either, because Thena's hair parts in the middle and goes behind her shoulders, and I'm really, really sick of LEGO using this exact same hairpiece on like every random female minifigure. It's getting really annoying at this point. But ending on a positive note, here's Makari. I'm very excited to see her in the movie. She's our first deaf superhero, and I've also talked about her already in my, again, Deviant Ambush review, same as Thena. Sorry, it took me a second to think about it. But I really like her minifigure. I think there's a little bit too much gray in this minifigure for me, but it still looks good. I love the actual design of her printing. The new hair mold is perfect for her, and the reuse of MJ's face isn't bad at all. Crow is the leader of the Deviants and like the Eternals' arch enemy. I really, really like this build. I don't know what it is about it, but I'm just obsessed with it. Like, I can't stop playing with it and like looking at it. I just really, really like it. He's kind of built like the original Groot or Steppenwolf, you know, that kind of like large character build. And it's kind of funny because he's definitely not even as large as those characters. He is bigger than the Eternals, but I guess it's like if there's a 6-foot Eternal, I'd guess Crow would be like 8 feet tall, so, or maybe even 7. So the difference between him and a minifigure is really, really funny, especially because he does share a scene with Thena in the trailer. But I think that he was captured really well. I love the design of the stickers used on him, again, with that like kind of tendrily deviant look. The color scheme is a little bit more of a mess, I feel like, on this figure than some other Deviants. I also do not like these exposed studs on those brackets at all. But I do like all of like the tendrils he has coming out. So you have these golden blade pieces on his shoulders. That one's about to fall out. You've also got adjustable tendrils up by his head. And then you just have more stuff sticking out all over his body, including some of those iridescent trans satin black blade pieces that are seen on the other Deviants. And he's got some more stickers down at his feet. But I like the look in general. I just think that there's maybe a little bit too much teal in him compared to the rest of the Deviants. And I would have liked to see a little bit more dark red in the main body, because there is dark red on the arms, but the main body, the only dark red comes from the stickers, which I don't love. There's a ton of dark red around the back, though, and I do actually like that these brackets extend to the back. He really looks a lot more finished from the back than I think a lot of these kinds of builds look. I especially appreciate that LEGO, you know, took the time to smooth over all of this area. I think that makes it look a lot better. As you can tell by all the Mixel's ball joints, he does have a pretty good range of motion, and his hands do have some more stickers on them. Again, I just really like these designs, especially the way they bleed into each other so well. He's got short little fingers on this side, and this is kind of funny to me because these are pretty much the same size fingers that are found on Arishem, and that guy's a Celestial. So you can like kind of try to make him hold a minifigure in this hand. I think it'll work if you get like just the right angle. And yeah, I'm choosing Thena because she seems to be captured by him in the movie. Crow and Thena actually had a relationship in the comics, so I'm wondering if that moves over to the movie as well. But it's kind of hard to get him to hold someone because those fingers are so small. I can't really make it happen. However, the other hand, this is another part of the build that I really like because it's, again, just so tendrily. And I think it really captures, for something so blocky, like LEGO as a medium and also this figure, I think it does capture his like sinewiness well from the movie. And so he's got these really long fingers on this hand, just trying to make him not fall over. He's got these really long fingers that you can adjust and move around. And so this makes it a lot easier for him to grab a figure. So let me put Thena in there. So yeah, so that works out really well. And again, I just think that that hand is a really, really good look, but I don't know why one is bigger than the other. And I have avoided talking about his head because I really, really like this piece. This is a brand new mold made just for the Eternals sets. You've got his 4 eyes on there, and I think it just looks perfect. I love kind of like the muscularness they've got of his neck in this mold, and I just think that that print looks really, really awesome. So I am a huge fan of this figure, and I do think he's, like I said, pretty movie accurate considering how blocky LEGO makes him. I've been doing this in other Eternals reviews, so I'm just going to put Crow off to the side here and put up a picture of him from the movie as well. So you can see he's fairly accurate. I think the face is definitely like done well. The one thing I would have liked though is more tentacles coming out of his back. Like these ones are nice, but I would have liked some longer ones that could kind of like wrap around like underneath the arms and stuff as well. And here's our other deviant, our last one across all of these sets. This is a very sizable build. Like honestly, this would be a $20 set on its own. So on the one hand, I don't really think we needed a side build this large in this set, but I think it works out pretty well. I don't love the feet. They're kind of awkward because the legs attach using these massive ball and socket joints, but then the feet are like static except for when you get to the ankles. So I just think it makes them look blocky and then a little bit awkward, like the transition from system to Technic pieces. But that's honestly probably my least favorite part of this build. I really like the shaping with those like dark red sloped pieces. There are a lot of good sloped pieces all over this thing. And I believe that this is the deviant that attacks the group when they're at Druig's compound in South America. So again, I'll put up the deviant from the movie. The reason I think that is because this guy's like face seems to be kind of beaked like that deviant. So I hope I'm right about that because otherwise I can't identify which one this is. But we do have a lot of stickers on here. Again, kind of annoying, but the designs look so good that I can't really complain. I just wish that these smaller ones were printed because, I mean, there's like 4 of them in this one area. And then other than that, you've just got, again, a lot more like tendrils and like spiky bits, more of those satin black blade pieces, especially up here. I think that this looks really, really cool. Like just all of the different like spikes, and you can also adjust these a bit. You can move these ones in and out. You can move these ones up and down. And it makes for a very interesting look. I really like that about these deviants. At the back legs are a little bit better because they're smaller, but I still don't like that blend of Technic and everything else. And then the light gray for the feet just looks kind of awkward, but I do actually like the way that the claws are built. Like we've got 1 at the back and then 2 at the front. And then we do have a little tail back here that can move up and down. Like I said, more of those spikes. I'm actually kind of surprised that a sticker wasn't put there since LEGO loves putting stickers all over these deviant builds. And then finishing up with the head, you actually can't move the head on this. That kind of surprised me. I'm very used to movable heads on LEGO creatures. These eyes are printed, same print as the Deviant Ambush set's Deviant. But you can move like the little beak area. It's just super weird to me that you can't move the upper jaw as well. And I feel like there's quite a gap from the top of the head to like the actual opening part. And in case I didn't make it clear, both of these deviants have great articulation, especially Crow. That's like a really funny pose that I put him in, and that took me literally 5 seconds of just like mashing his joints together to get that. I actually filmed the first half of this review on Wednesday, and I did see the movie last night. I've got thoughts on it, but I'm going to save that for kind of my collection video. For now, though, I will say that one of my major complaints about the Domo ship itself is that it is an equilateral triangle, right? So that means that all of the sides are the same length. I thought that that was inaccurate. I thought that in the movie it was like wider. So I thought that it was just supposed to be kind of more like the big like Star Destroyer in The Last Jedi, if you guys remember that. Like I thought it was supposed to be wider and then like still come to this point, but not even. So I was wrong about that. So I do like this a little bit better now. The one thing that I don't like about it though that's still inaccurate is the color. I don't mind the gray color because I still think that this is just a really cool ship design and all of the stickers and different printed pieces really help it. But it is green in the movie, so it would have been nice if it had been a little bit more accurate. But then again, a lot of these like Technic parts are not made in green, so maybe LEGO knew that it would be green but just didn't make it green because, you know, like there still would have been gray things that would stick out really in an ugly way. The other thing, though, is that I do think this color scheme is a little bit of a mess. The light gray, the dark gray, the sand blue, like the satin black, it's all just kind of too much, especially in like areas over here. I don't think it looks natural. I just think it looks kind of patchy and strange. So we have these circular designs, like I said, that are most of these are stickers. I do like that, but again, it's just like, it's kind of strange how they just have like a stripe of that, but then they have like such like weird colors and shapes like everywhere else. I really like these dishes though, the same ones from the Arisham set. The way that they build like the nose is really clever because it has to come to like a blunt point. It doesn't come to like, it doesn't come to a like an actual point. It comes to like a rectangular end. So this piece, I don't think I've actually seen it before. It kind of reminds me of those satellite pieces that have like kind of like click hinge like satellite dish pieces that have like a click hinge at the back, but this one doesn't. So I don't know what it's from. Maybe it's like a Technic piece or from City or something, but it just attaches like in the middle there. So I thought that that was like a really clever parts use. The other side isn't identical, but it is very similar. We just have more sticker designs, more satin pieces, and another dish. The top is definitely my favorite part of this set. All of these large dishes are printed, and then all of the smaller ones are stickered. Those all look great, but what I love even more is that LEGO also built in the circular designs using their own curved pieces. And I think that it looks really good. It does look kind of messy. I understand why some people don't like it, but for me, I just think that this is beautiful. And I really, really, really like, you know, just the way that all of these lines are kind of feeding into each other. You'll also notice we've got a couple of stud shooters on the roof over here. So these fire out like 2 studs, like there's just a couple of studs stacked on top of each other. That works, but I really don't think that they were needed at all. And then at the back, you just have more stickers. And the other thing I want to talk about on the exterior before we get inside this thing is the way that they built like the ends here. They made them using like these refrigerator door pieces, which I think is really, really clever. You can't move them much because like they're kind of locked in place by these tiles that are put over them and stuff. But that's just, again, really clever parts usage, and it works really well. So I'm sure you could already see things start to open up because, yeah, like this ship, it's not like it's weak, but if you grab it from certain areas, it will open up. So each of these 3 dishes actually just hinge up on regular pieces. Then you can lift up this center area from the stud shooters, and then the walls actually fold down to give you access. So it opens up really, really nicely. So we'll start with the cockpit area. I don't think that this is a location that we saw in the movie, but I really like what LEGO's done here. So you have like these kind of pipes that are running along like this chair area, I guess. Like there's a little 2x3 stud space where you can put a figure, and it looks like you've got a couple of armrests. So I like the tubing. I think that that's like really clever, but I also really like the stickers. So we have more of those circular designs on a sticker right in front of the person, and then also on longer slopes on the sides. I think that that's really cool. It's kind of hard to see. It's really hard to get a camera in here just because it's like so small. But I just think that that's really, really cool. And we do have a printed control panel over there. And you even have like a couple of windows like up towards the front, which you can't really see because they do get a little bit blocked off. But I just think that, I think that the cockpit area, even though it's like very inaccessible and hard to look into even in person, it's a cool little section. So we'll start by looking at the left side of the ship. This is kind of just a little bit of a storage area. So you have a clip for Thena's spear on the end here. That works out really well. Love it when LEGO gives you, you know, places to actually store weapons. You have a pedestal with one of Gilgamesh's fists on it. That's interesting to me. I don't know why that's there because his fists are just formed out of energy. So I feel like this was kind of just LEGO being like, oh, here, like have another one of those cool new molds, because again, nothing like that appears in the movie. And then at the back, you actually have this little vehicle, which is really, really funny to me. This looks like something that you would get in an advent calendar, like a Star Wars advent calendar. You've just got a couple of joysticks and then a seat for one figure, and then like these little like engines on the side. Yeah, nothing like this appears in the movie whatsoever, and it really just feels like something little that LEGO threw in to up the play value. And you do have space to hold it at the back. So, I mean, I can't really be upset that LEGO invented something to, you know, increase play value, but I do feel like this takes up valuable space in the ship. Like that's, you know, that's like a sizable little chunk that's just dedicated to holding this one little scooter that doesn't really do anything. And they show like Icarus riding it, I think, on like the box or in the instructions, which is stupid because the man can fly. So yeah, I kind of would have just preferred if that was seating for more minifigures, but this is a children's toy, so it adds play value. The right side of the ship has a space for Cersei's sword and another weapon, but I do like this area a lot better because it's kind of homey, you know, like you have a little coffee maker, it looks like over here. It's in like red and gold, so and white, so it kind of reminds me of like Christmas, of like Santa Claus. And then you have a little chair, and then back here you just have a lot of little nice details. So you have an umbrella, a crowbar, a couple of microphones, you have a metal detector, and one of those Ninjago like console sword pieces up on the wall. And you do have like a couple more of those transparent window pieces in the corner. So I like that because this feels like, like a little like rec room, like where the Eternals would hang out when they're just goofing off. I think that the microphones are supposed to be for the scene of Sprite doing karaoke in the first trailer. We didn't actually get that in the movie. And actually, I think it would have taken place on the private jet that they were on. But still, I think that that's like a cute little reference, even though that scene ended up being deleted. As for the main area of the ship, you've kind of just got a long hallway, which is cool because, I mean, the Domo did have a lot of long hallways in the movie that, like characters like strutted down. So I like that. I also love the circular details on the floor here. Again, it's annoying that those are all stickers, but the designs look really good and they aren't too hard to apply. And again, they look very, very nice. So at the back, we do have Phastos's like workstation or lab, I guess, for lack of a better term. Again, we see him kind of building this in the trailer, and I like the way that Lego's done this. So you have like a gold, I'm gonna put these down so it's easier to get my hands around, but you've got like a gold platform here, and then you've got this little structure made out of a lantern and a sextant piece. And then you also have this hose with a couple of those like golden Black Panther like sword ring pieces around it. And what I really like about this is that you can close it all down, and then when you open it up, like it opens up naturally. Like this folds away on its own and then like opens back up. And so I really like that because I was afraid that you'd have to like break this when you close the Domo. And I'm glad that that's not the case. On the other side, though, we do have a little bit of an issue. So this is the statue of Arishem. And again, it's hard to like kind of get in here around like the height of the roof. But this statue with Arishem like kind of holding an Eternal, that's like the focal point of the Domo. All of the Eternals sit around it like when they're traveling in space. And, Arishem's the one that like activates them. So it is kind of like the center, like the heart of the ship, I'd say. And I don't love this. So I think the statue itself is a good design. I think using the roller skate pieces to look like Arishem is really clever. I like that he's holding out the white nano figure. That works out really well. But he's supposed to be standing straight up. And that's also like, that's the thing. He bends in like so many different areas. It's really hard to like place him where you want. But like the point is that he's supposed to be standing straight up. And the roof can't close if he's standing in the position that he's supposed to be in. So you can close the roof, but you'll notice that it's not lying flat. Like it is slightly raised. So if you push it down, it will lie flat, but it'll also smush Arishem against the wall like he's, I don't know, like kind of ducking out of someone's way or something. So that's extremely stupid and annoying to me that the roof can't even close with like the main focal point of like the interior. Like, I mean, I'd say like this is the focal point of the interior detail, but Arishem is definitely a close second. And so the fact that he has to be smushed up against the wall for the roof to close is just really, really irritating to me. And you know what else is irritating about this build? The fact that there's nowhere to put the frickin' Eternals. So we have 6 people in this ship. So I'll just show you guys how you can put people in here. So you can put one person in the cockpit. I won't even sit them down. And then you can put one person in like the chair in, as I said, the rec room. So let's put Icarus over there. And then in theory, you have so much open space to be able to stand figures up in, right? So like I could put Makari over here. I could put Cersei with Icarus. Like you should have plenty of room to put all of these characters wherever you want. But the problem is that it can't close with them in it. So these areas will close. Like you don't really have any problem with like the discs, but when you fold up the sides, they like immediately kind of start coming into contact with the minifigures. So Cersei's in a safe space there, but that's like the only space that you can put her in. Like you can't use like any space around here because they'll just get hit by the roofs and the walls. And then if you want to put down like the main roof, so you have to move Phastos because no one can stand there. You have to move Makari because she can't fit. And then Druig doesn't even fit either because the roof still won't properly close. So this is really irritating to me. Like there are 6 people in this set and there are 10 Eternals in total. And in a ship this big, you should easily be able to fit all of them, but it's a huge pain in the butt to try to get them to all stand up without being hit by the roof. So I've managed to close the other sections. So Druig and Makari can stand there because they're like one plate lower than the green areas. So they'll fit. But like Phastos, like that shouldn't be an issue. Like standing a minifigure here, I feel like shouldn't be an issue. But again, if you try closing this, the roof just doesn't close because it's like too low. And to me, this is like the stupidest part of the entire build. Because if I don't have room to put like 6 to 10 Eternals standing around their own ship, then like what is the point of having a ship for all of them? Like, sure, you can like just throw them in and have them all lie around, but then again, like I said, this thing opens like pretty easily. So let's take out Fastos so like the roof actually shuts. Like if I were to hold this like this, like it's really easy for the roof to just like fall open. And I know that that was really slow, but it's fallen open like a lot faster when I've just been messing around with this. Like I said, the sides of the ship, if you like grab it, because it feels natural to grab it from here. And again, it can handle it, but you just don't, like you just better not turn your hand because then it's just gonna open. So it's really frustrating to me that it's so hard to fit minifigures in this thing, because if the roof was literally like a couple of plates higher, it wouldn't be an issue. And so I really feel like the designer should have taken that into account more, because this should be designed to fit all 10 Eternals comfortably. And honestly, it should be designed to fit all 10 of them in this one room, because that's where they all gather in the movie. This is like the main room in the movie. So they should all be able to fit in here together, and they just can't. And even if they could, they all have to just be like pressed up against the wall, like standing perfectly straight like pencils, because there's no room to like do anything with them. And lastly, you'd think that standing Fastos at the back like that would work, but that still doesn't work, because then when you close the roof, the boat stud pieces impact the person's head. And again, Fastos has a very like small hairpiece. Like this is one of like the smallest, like shortest hairpieces that Lego makes. So like the fact that he can't fit there, like you're definitely not going to be able to get someone like Makari in there either. We've got a lot of extra pieces for this set, including like the full pack of power burst pieces that Fastos was using. The big box for this set shows off the beautiful Eternals like box design in all of its glory. And I really, you know, like it. Like I love the volcano in the background and everything. These boxes are just so atmospheric, you know. Honestly, I feel like I might like the marketing materials for this movie better than the actual movie. But I am gonna do what I did in every other review and go to the characters in the corner. You can see Druig up there with Gilgamesh. That is not the right hairstyle, and his face doesn't really look like that either. But the hair is what's more annoying to me. On the side of the box, these are my favorite parts of the boxes. We have like all of these characters in Lego form, which is very hard to show you guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, but they all look wonderful. I really like that. And then at the back, you have the Domo landed. But what I'm actually surprised about is that they really don't show you what you can do with this set. Like you have one little shot of like the rec room and then a couple little areas on the ship, but like they don't show you this section at all. They don't show you the cockpit, and they don't even focus on the deviants. They're just like in the background. Like those things have a lot of articulation and offer a lot of play value, and this is a giant box, so I'm really surprised that they aren't highlighted more. We've got a proper big, you know, thick instruction manual as befits a set of this size. And at the back, we've got the full spread of all 4 Eternal sets. So I definitely have issues with this set, but let's talk about value first. This set is $90 in the US. It's got over 1,000 pieces. It's got 6 minifigures, all of which have torso and leg printing, detailed good leg printing. And 2 of those minifigures are exclusive. We've also got a brand new mold in this set for Crow's head. Honestly, I can't believe that this set is only $90. I feel like this is exceptional value for money. And, you know, like I'll break it down for you guys because I know like Jangbricks does this sometimes, you know, like what he would value each part of the set at. And I do that in my own head very often, like when I'm building. Like Crow is easily like a $10 build. You know, this is just like one of those little Marvel mechs basically. That Deviant, I think, is easily a $20 build. Of course, like if you threw in a couple of minifigures, that would be a great $20 set. Probably a better $20 set than like the $25 one that we got in this wave. And again, this is a $90 set. So if I say that that's $30 of value, do I see $60 of value in the Domo? I think I see more than $60 of value here. Honestly, if the Domo was sold on its own without any of the deviants, I think that this would be a great $70 set. But even that would feel like a bit of a steal. Like I could see Lego selling the Domo alone for $80, like the Benatar Or sorry, no, I think the Benatar was a $70 set. But I could see Lego selling this, as an $80 Quinjet. Like the Quinjets are $80. I could see this being sold as an $80 set. So the fact that we've got what I would consider to be a $70 to $80 ship plus $30 worth of bad guys, I'm shocked that Lego didn't sell this set at least $100. Like Lego could have sold this at 120 and then it would have been overpriced, but it still wouldn't have been like as overpriced as Star Wars sets. So yeah, for $90, buy this. If you like the Eternals movie, if you like any of the builds here, buy it. Like, do not hesitate. I think that this is the best value that we've seen from Marvel this year, besides the Endgame Final Battle set. I love the build for Crow. I don't mind the build for the other Deviant. And I do love the build of the Domo. I think it looks amazing from the outside. I just hate that you can't really put figures in it. And I get that it's difficult. I mean, this is a triangular ship and Lego tried to maximize the interior space. It is a very odd shape. I do think that they did an exceptional job, but to me, you just shouldn't bother making an interior if it's not really like usable. I don't know. It's like, because I mean, it is usable, but to me, it's like if the entire ship was literally just like one brick higher, all of these problems would be avoided. If everything was one brick taller, it would be perfect. And I don't really know why they couldn't do that. Yes, like this roof section is like kind of hard to do. Like maybe the size of the ship was determined by like these Technic like lift arms on the side. But then why can't you just put the lift arms up one brick higher? Like build in the extra brick of height at the base. Because if this ship was one brick taller, like most of my issues would be gone. Like you still wouldn't be able to put figures in where like Phastos's like engine thing comes down, but I would have taken that trade-off if you could still put them like on the side. So that does bother me, but I'm not really going to be using the Domo very much. I'm just going to put it on display and look at it, and from that angle it succeeds spectacularly, and it does fold out into a nice playset. The interior is very usable when it's folded out like this. And again, the RSM issue is extremely annoying to me. That's like the stupidest thing I've ever seen. The fact that the roof can't close because of an interior feature that Lego put in there themselves. Like that's not a minifigure issue. That's you just built this badly. But anyway, that's enough ranting about how the ship can't close properly. I still think it's a good value. I still think you should buy it if you like the design. It is inaccurate. It might be a little bit too patchwork for some. But I just really like the idea of a triangular spaceship. So don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and check out my website, goldenninja3000.com, and I'll see you guys with more videos soon. Bye for now.